to check with David because he's going to show us those jigs he used to work on those rifles with his eyesight.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to follow up with him earlier this week, so my bad. Maybe I'll catch him for next week. Work on those.
Yeah.
Oops, oh, there we go. I do it every time. There we go. Let me block that out. Okay. So we are live. Ain't nobody here yet, but we're live. Oh no, Raphael's here.
Hello, Raphael.
Good to see you. Yeah. At least we got one. You know, I sent out quite a few invites, but you know how that goes, you know?
Yeah, they'll all filter in here in a little bit.
Yeah. Damn, it done it to me again. I keep losing my hey, Too Hottie. Hey, Too Live Moo. I keep losing my my gun channel's chat. It won't stay put. There we go. So, anyway, let me get started. Welcome from behind enemy lines to Shooting with Disabilities with Rick's Life as I See It, and my regular host, Wheelchair Warrior. This is a 1-hour talk show about shooting with disabilities or infirmities or whatever else you wish to, well, problems you have. We also talk about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses our mind. This show will also be uploaded or downloaded, whatever you wish to call it, onto Podbean, Stitcher, or iTunes, normally within 24 hours of the show ending. There you go. If you want to ask a question, just type it in the chat, or you can send it in to me at email, which is at rickslife@gmail.com. Okay, that's it. Actually, I'm thinking of coming up with a second email. I got to make sure it's available. Just put like Rick's Life or something at gmail.com. You know, make it easy for people to remember. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I started to just put WW for my email address, but I ended up keeping the Wheelchair Warrior instead.
Yeah, well, I'll see if Rick's Life's available or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's about it. I mean, topics tonight. There is not much going on. I was hoping to have David on because he does. What did he say? He did repair work or maintenance on sheriff's departments or something, rifles with his bad eyesight, and he's going to show us the jigs he uses to do it with his eyesight and stuff. But unfortunately, my bad. I forgot to follow up with him earlier in the week to make sure everything was still on. And he more likely forgot, to be honest with you. You know, so I'll chase him up for hopefully get him on here next week. So basically, this week is just open up for grabs, whatever you wish to talk about. You know, in the thing, anything from shooting with disabilities, guns, politics, anything. You know.
You saw the op-ed that was put out by the former Supreme Court Justice about repealing the Second Amendment, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I saw that. I mean, he ought to do what in his title says, retired. Stay there.
You know? Well, no, I think he did us a favor. Because so many of the people have been saying, oh, they don't want to take our guns. They don't want to do away with the Second Amendment. And by him just coming right out and saying it, now I think a lot of people are going to realize, that's exactly the end goal.
Oh, that is, and I think some of them said it on the Saturday March too. Some of those people, that is their end goal, to take our guns away from us. But you know, really, who we got? Who just came in? David.
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
All right. I mentioned you earlier. I forgot to get in touch with you earlier in the week. to talk about what we discussed last week.
Yeah, that's all right.
I mean, did you get anything set up, or are we just going to have a general chit chat today and do it for next week?
Yeah, I just figured we'd cover a general thing today. If you want to, because I've been busy all day. I didn't have a chance to actually get that set up for tonight.
Okay.
But I did set up some stuff before I can get it. I got some ideas going on. So next week,
that's good.
Should be set up and ready to go.
All right, that'll work. We can do that for what? For next week?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that works. Yeah, right now we just happen to top on the topic of our the old, the retired Chief Justice and his let's appeal the Second Amendment thing he put out. How it's done as a favor, I think.
Oh, by waking people up
to realize,
exactly.
Really, the Second Amendment, our rights are not up for discussion or debate. And I think people finally realize. I mean, appealing the right. That problem is, it wasn't given to us by the government.
Nope.
The Bill of Rights is saying that was ours to start with, and this is what the government cannot take from you.
That's right.
Oh, I agree 110% on that. And it's a God-given right. The ability to self-protect yourself from harm. It's all throughout the Bible. And if you want to talk creation, survival of the fittest. I mean, I don't know any animal that lays down and lets the apex predator eat it.
The human being, if you're liberal. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right there. It's but what I got this lined up from a chat on Saturday too. Some of this, but basically is we got. After that march, the kids are going to go home. They're going to go back to eating their Tide Pods and stuff like that. But the momentum is there for the people who actually put the money behind it. Your Bloombergs, your Parenthood, and the moms and Soros and all them. They've got the momentum on their side right now. So
I kind of feel
we
that
can't sit back and say we can't sit by and go, well, we still got the high ground. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we still have it, but we could easily lose it if we're not careful.
Oh, yes, sir. But I think that march on Washington kind of failed in a miserable way. It kind of backfired on them. And I don't think they were expecting that. But it finally dawned on the people of America that this isn't a bunch of kids that are orchestrating this huge maneuver with free hotel rooms and free they had expense accounts that they could use to spend on food and anything else, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Buses, tour bus size buses. Those things are $3,500 a day.
Yeah,
plus fuel.
And some even got airplane flights there too.
Yes.
Not to mention all the professional signage. I mean, the professional signage that they had was in the thousands of dollars at each location.
Not only that, somebody had to organize all the porta potties that they needed for all the amount of people. The town just don't put them up because of the coming in. Somebody has to pay for them.
And the permits. You got to pull permits to have, assemblies that large in DC, and those things can run into the thousands of dollars for that many people.
Absolutely. I'm not conspiracist. I'm not going to say, the shooting was set up for this to happen. No, they've been working on this all year. Before then, since the last shooting in Vegas, before that, they're just waiting. This one happened, and they said, we got all this stuff in we got all this stuff lined up. Let's put it in action. And that's what they did. There's no way those kids could have done it in 3.5 weeks.
The anti-gunners are always ready for the next tragedy to happen so they can use it for their benefit.
Oh, yeah. And what they learn out of this one, they'll have it up and ready for the next one to come along. You know?
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, they couldn't use it. They couldn't use it when that fella shot up that church in Texas and the guy with the AR-15 actually saved the day. You know, they couldn't use it then. So they were just minding their P's and Q's and waiting for the next bloodbath so that they could, you know, lay out their agenda and push forward with it. And that was clearly from the start, that town hall meeting. And now you're starting to hear that the kids that wanted to speak, that were in support of the Second Amendment, because, you know, most likely their parents are, you know, and just like most likely these leftist kids, these anti-gun kids, their parents are probably most likely left and anti-gun. You know, young children kind of follow in the footsteps of their parents. I did politically when, you know, we were Republican conservative. So that's the way I was raised. So that's what I chose. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing that they're reflecting their parents' aspect, but I think it is bad when the kids that were wanting to speak and they were conservatives and they think that the Second Amendment is very important to this country, they didn't get to speak their voice. They were told, go away, or, you know, we'll give you a time. And I never heard one child that spoke up. And now they're starting to hit YouTube and you're starting to see there was dozens, if not 30, 40 kids that wanted to speak up for the Second Amendment. And they didn't agree with what the other kids were saying, because you don't just change your Constitution over a mass shooting, even though it was as horrible as it possibly could have been. Those 17 people don't trump the millions that have died previous to them in wars and conflict and, you know, and even starting this country. You know, millions of people have given their lives. So how can you compare 17 people, even though it was children, and that's horrible. And don't get me wrong, any life lost is horrible, but you can't just throw away all the other people that gave their lives for this country and into this day are still serving over in Afghanistan and Iraq and are still being killed to this day by the very people that are pushing forward movements like this around the world.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Rich, good to see you. You're right. It's I'm lost for words sometimes to think what they're up to. But I watched what's called on YouTube this afternoon. That guy that does the Daily Rant. I can't think of his name now. Graham or something his name is, but he was on. He done a live video from New York City because he was there taping something. And, you know, he's the one that said, you know, our rights aren't up for debate or discussion whatsoever, you know, and to think that you want to, and when these people come back with, well, when they wrote the Second Amendment, they didn't think there was going to be AR-15s and submachine guns and nuclear weapons when they wrote all this. Well, he come back with the same argument. Well, look at, did they realize with your First Amendment you're going to have, you know, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, the internet to get your information out there so fast, so wide? You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah, somebody came out with a thing saying that they should issue muskets to all the gun owners and take away all their guns, because that's what the Second Amendment had in mind. And, you know, if that's the case, then we need to take away telephones, telegrams,
Yeah.
and all the other more modern
Oh yeah.
things, because none of that's covered by the First Amendment.
Yeah. Well, I told a friend of mine when I was having this argument with him, I said, well, I tell you what to do. Put your proposal, I said, you use a quill tip pen on parchment paper, give it to some guy on a horse and deliver it to me. Then we'll have our discussion. You know, because we were having this discussion over texting on the phone. You know what I'm saying? I said, put it all on. Use a quill tip, parchment paper, send it over to me on a horseback. Then we'll have our discussion. You know, that shut him up for a few anyway.
Yeah, I'm just not.
Yeah,
I'm not in the mood anymore of like taking these people seriously anymore. I'm like, man, you know, my family is very heavily involved and was heavily in the military, and basically, it turns my stomach to see people like this. And I remember back when I was 16 and 17, and I had some, I lost some friends and stuff for doing stupid things, drinking and driving, drugs back in high school, and they died. That was how it is in Florida, unfortunately, back then. And the bottom line is, I know that when tragedy happened, everybody wanted to be like an activist. And I understand that's part of being young and emotional. And, you know, once you get exposed later on to more life experiences, you realize you've got to pick your battles and you got to make sound decisions based upon fact and not emotional. Some of the worst times to make a important decision is when you're emotionally traumatized or, you know, just basically not able to comprehend what's really going on and what you're really asking for.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the left's status, you know, as far as their modus operandi. You know, it's always, and you know, that's just like their whole argument against, like, you know, the NRA and gun owners in general. You know, it's, well, because they want to keep their guns, then, you know, they just don't care about those kids that died and yada, yada, yada. And they plead to the emotional side against everybody. And if you have anything negative to say about their opinions, then, you know, how dare you treat that poor emotionally disturbed child that way because they went through a tragedy. But yet, when it comes to, you know, they're the expert and the authority that we're supposed to listen to as to what to do with our rights and so on. But if you question them, then they're just kids. You know, don't treat those poor kids that way. You know, I'm glad that the kids are trying to, you know, act in some way with the political realm, because so many kids don't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But at the same time, as adults, you know, and especially, you know, the Congress and so on, you know, they need to be taking into consideration these are kids. They are not adults. They don't make the rules, and theirs is not the majority voice. You know, you've got the biggest majority of the kids that have been involved in these things, like the walkout and stuff. I would have, if I was in school, I'd have participated in the walkout. Why?
Oh yeah,
Get out
to
of class.
Get out of class. I'd have been like, you could have signed me up for the gay got out of school. I'm leaving. I'm part of the gay peace parade. I'd have been like, heck yeah.
I'd have signed up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Me too. Me too.
But
Just real quick, I just want to let the people know out there. I put, if you want to join us in the chat here, I put links out on gun channels and YouTube. So just click on the link and you can join us in the chat here if you wish. Anyway, yeah, carry on. Yeah, you're right. I would have said, yeah, I'm in. And once everybody was piling out to school and they all went over to their little thing, I would have gone the other direction. You know, and tried to get out for the rest of the day. You know? But,
well, yeah, I'd have probably took off and went and done my own thing. But
you know, but there you go.
no.
You know, another thing too is I guess I'm one of old school. I mean, I'm an old boy. I mean, I wasn't in the military. I mean, I regret it now, but I was a military brat. You know, and that's why when it came time for me to join the military, you know, I said I ain't going through all this crap, but I wish I had now. If you know, but I worked for the military for most of my life. But where I'm going with this is talking about the way they, where you were saying people died and stuff around the world and stuff for us for our amendments and stuff. Back in now. Some of you guys weren't even born when I'm going to mention this, but back in 1969, I was 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there. And I was living in the Philippine Islands. And the Vietnam War was on. And my father was in the Air Force, but he had every 3 months, he went over to Vietnam for a month, then came back again. He said he was in communications. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but anyway, that's what he did. But where I was going with there is one time I was sick, and I think I had some kidney infection or something, and they put me in hospital on the military base, and they didn't have no room in the children's ward, so they put me up on the 5th floor. Now, where I'm going with this, I know I'm beating around the bushes to get to the point here, but the 5th floor was where, now in Vietnam, the MASH units, when those injured kids left the MASH units going back to the States, some of them would be shipped to Clark Air Base because they had top-notch doctors and surgeons there to make sure they're okay before they shipped them back stateside. They put me on this 5th floor. And I mean, now I'm 13, and there's kids in there 18, 19 years old with legs blowing off, arms missing. You know what I'm saying? It's an awakener to what it's all about. You know, that's all I just wanted to say. So there we go. So I believe in. So when these people do this marching, I'm thinking you don't know what it's about. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean they sacrifice their lives, they sacrifice their body parts. You know, for our freedoms.
Well, they'll figure it out. Unfortunately, you know, it's one of those pay me now, pay later type of things.
Yeah. What do you mean a cigarette break, Raphael? We need to give that up.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I quit after 32 years of smoking that crap. Finally, I ended up in the hospital. They thought I had a mini stroke this last September. Only smoked. I was trying to quit, and I only smoked about a pack of light cigarettes. But when I was over in country, I was smoking 3 packs of non-filter Turkish cigarettes every day.
Oh yeah, I gave up smoking too. What was it, about 7 or 8 years ago now? So I smoked since I was 14 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know. And it was health that made me stop.
I need to quit.
You know,
I need to quit again.
Yeah, I quit for a little while. I quit for maybe 3 years. Then I started up again, and it took me about another 10 to stop again. But this time, I've been stopped about 8 years now. You know, and it's only because, like you, it was health. The doctor told I was going to. I coughed all the time, which I didn't even know I was coughing. I couldn't breathe. I'm breathing heavy. You know, and the doctor said, "Well, if you keep this up," he said, "I'll see you next month, and I'll fit you one of those things that go in your nose and the oxygen tank." You know,
Yeah.
that's what woke me up.
Yeah. What finally got me was that minor stroke they think I had. But the thing is that I didn't want to be paying somebody to kill me. And that's how I was able to just stay off of it, because every time I got the urge and I smell, because my wife still smokes and I'm trying to get her to quit now, but she's much younger than me. And basically I'm like, you're heading in the same direction and you gotta quit eventually, because either it'll just destroy your heart, so that to the point where smoking don't kill you, but the blood vessels that it destroyed because of it will kill you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not only that, but it's smoking. I found for me to quit this last time was the same for me that because I quit drinking. I got sober 20 years ago. Right? Was my wife asked me to quit. My parents asked me to quit. My kids would tell me to quit drinking. Right? I would say yeah, but I always done it. And it's like with the smoking, deep down, deep inside, I had to quit. I had to have enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
oh yeah. You got to get to the point where you've had enough.
I've had enough. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells me. I mean,
yeah,
even 8 years ago when I quit up here in the Northeast, cigarettes in Rhode Island were $8 a pack. God knows how much they are now, right? But
right.
you know what I would do is that if I had $10 left in my wallet and I needed gas, you know, I would go. I'll put $2 worth of gas in the truck and spend the other $8 on a pack of cigarettes. I mean, that's how pitiful it gets. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
I found a way to smoke. You know.
Oh yeah. Eventually, though, you get to the point where you're like, either you continue smoking or you just say, I've had enough. The doctors told me. And I'm at the age now where, if I make a mistake, I'm not 19 anymore. I'm not going to just spring back from this. If I have another stroke, it's probably going to kill me. So I was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and not be paying a company to basically slowly kill you over time. And I'm paying for it. And that was the thing, because they kept raising the prices on those damn cigarettes. And I was like, my God, man. I'm like, what am I paying for? Like, how many yachts and houses do they need?
Yeah, you're right. But that's the thing. But it never stopped me, though. I still paid the price for those cigarettes. You know, it was only because I wanted to stop that I finally did. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying even now, even after 8 years.
I remember making statements. If it gets to X amount, I'll quit.
What was that?
I remember making the statement, if it gets up to X amount per pack, I'll quit.
Oh, I did too, but I kept on. I think it was double by the time I finally actually quit.
Yeah, I keep extending that dollar amount.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, now I'm not going to lie. Occasionally, I'll go walking down the street, or if I'm walking into a restaurant or something, and people are outside standing, and I get a whiff of smoke. Most of the time now, I can't take it. I go, oh my God. Occasionally, it hits me just right, and I go, oh God, I want one of those. Yeah. But I tell you what's really bad now is, and you can all hear me here live on YouTube. It's Clover's fault smoking that goddamn pipe. I smoke a pipe too. I used to, right? But I quit. When I quit everything. And I don't know what I did with it. It's here somewhere. I stumbled across my old pipe the other day, and I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at Clover. I'm looking at this pipe, and I'm thinking, I threw it away because I can feel myself. Oh, yeah, smoking a pipe's not going to hurt me. And I know my case. I'll start smoking the pipe. That'd be great for a week or two. Then let's have a cigarette in between smoke pipes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm back.
Yeah.
Hey, Grim. So, oh man, everybody's getting a real Rick's life as I see it. They're getting that tonight. I'm letting it all out.
Yeah, I stopped drinking about 15 years ago, Rick.
Yeah.
I just got tired of waking up not knowing where I was at.
I had many of those nights. I tell you. And also, even though I, basically I worked for the U.S. government and I got promoted and stuff like that. I still didn't make it. I mean, where I'm going. When I finally quit the government, and this is your alcoholic thinking. Even though even though you quit drinking, your brain doesn't change overnight. I'd only been sober a couple of years, and the reason I got mad at my boss and I quit. So what a stupid I was. But anyway, that's another whole hour show. But anyway, where I was going with this is if I don't know how to put it. Man, I'm trying to think of the best way to word it, and I can't figure it. I'll have to come back to it. I'll have to come back to it, guys. I'm trying to think of the right word, and I'm looking for.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Cigarettes and one damn vice. I wish I could stop. It's so hard for me. It is hard. It is hard. Smoking is very hard to quit. It really is.
Especially they say that it's easier to quit doing heroin to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm like, I'll just take their word for it. But they were, if you remember back in, I want to say the 90s, the cigarette companies all got sued for millions of dollars because they were basically increasing nicotine levels and then decreasing nicotine levels, causing people to get where they basically were strung out like on crack or something, because one pack of cigarettes would be really strong, and then like a couple weeks later, the cigarettes wouldn't be very strong at all. So you'd be buying like 3 packs.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, then they got sued for millions and millions of dollars. Oh yeah, they kept changing it to make sure the addiction stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know what I was going to say now. The wording it right. Let's see.
I'm live YouTube chat.
What was that?
Worried about it. Don't bother me.
Take care, bud.
Oh, he's talking to somebody else in the background. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, all this talk about smoking, I had to stop and get me some cigarettes.
Now I just remember what I wanted to say, how I was going to say it. Now I've forgotten it again. God damn.
Appreciate that.
Oh, they come back to me again. It couldn't have been that important, really, then. Rich, right. The sticker shock got to me. That's back when they first started putting in all of those new taxes on tobacco.
Okay.
I was coming.
Yeah, that was,
That was $5.99. See,
I can remember buying cigarettes for $1.50 a pack when I was 8 years old for my dad, back when you could just go into the store, buy a 6-pack of beer and a pack of smokes for your dad, and just tell the guy, I'm buying this for my dad. And he would just look out at the truck and see my dad and say, okay, and just sell it to you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I used to do that all the time, buying these from my dad or buying a pack of cigarettes from my mother,
Yeah.
I even bought some packs of cigarettes from my grandmother, too. Oh, yeah. It's crazy what it does to you. Yeah. Okay, back to what I was going to say now. I remember what it was about.
Nope.
Talking about the quit drinking and everything else and the attitude and the mindset, right? Even though I said I worked for the government for 20 years and I'd made my way up to I was running a commissary, which is a fairly decent position, right?
Right.
Pay rise. But a lot of the people that I came in with around the same time, right? They're already in positions up at headquarters. They're and stuff like that. So it affected me that way. I didn't realize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were unable to realize what it was doing to you, long-term effect, until it was too late.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that's how alcohol plays with you, because I just quit because I was just tired of just feeling like crap from it. I mean, and plus it was kind of like trying to run from my PTSD, and it wasn't a good way to do it because it's a depressant. So the more alcohol you put in your system, the more depressed you get.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, it's just not a good way to, it doesn't usually turn out good unless you quit on your own terms and just give it up.
That's right.
And
People go out to get drink because they want to be happy when it's a depressant. It's weird. It's weird, really. You know. Oh
yeah,
I was never a happy drunk.
Alaskan is asking me what my T-shirt says. Well, it's shrunk. That's why I wear it around the house. But it's a Hickok T-shirt. Hickok 45. It says "Life is good," and that's a barrel of a double barrel shotgun with the 2 zeros. See? He just wanted to know what my T-shirt was saying. So I say the shirt shrunk. I haven't got fatter. You know.
It's amazing how many of my clothes have shrunk. Then,
you know, all my other T-shirts are looser than this because, as I was saying before, when I carry, a lot of times I'll carry outside the waistband, and normally my loose T-shirts hang over the outside of them, so it covers it for it doesn't show. And that's how I normally carry, because I don't like carrying inside the waistband if I can help it. So this must have shrunk. That's all I'm saying.
I was at the doctor's office the other day, and I got on the scale, and the lady is standing there, and she's like 188, and I'm like, no, that's got to be. I'm like, your scale's got to be broken, and she's like, hold on. She gets on there. It said 124. She goes, oh, that's right. And I'm like, well, maybe it's off when you get up over 124 pounds. And she's like, it's digital. I'm like, man, what happened to me? Yeah. She's like, she's like a nurse at the VA. She's like, you've gotten old, honey. And I was like, let's go. I'm like,
I would love to see 188 again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hang on real quick. Lasky said, I thought it was one of Rick's Life as I See It T-shirts. No, it's not, but I got to buy one. But talking about that, if anybody wants one, a Rick's Life as I See It T-shirt or coffee mug or anything like that, if you go to spreadshirt.com and type in Rick's Life as I See It, I have T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, pins, and that kind of stuff available on there. So I just want to throw that little plug out there. So there you go.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, it's one of these sites where luckily you don't put no money up front. They actually say they sell it for $20. You get sort of like, I think you get $12 of it or something like that. You know?
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah. It's good. So if any of you guys want to do it, it's spreadshirt.com. And just click onto their partners program.
Oh, that's a yeah, they kind of took off YouTube on that.
You know, so.
Only items I can plug is I've got stun guns and pepper spray for sale. Email me at...
That ain't against YouTube policy now, is it?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Stun gun, it's got the word gun in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube didn't say something about it.
I believe actually stun guns are illegal in Rhode Island. I believe. Pepper spray's not, but stun guns
Yeah,
are.
They're not available in a state where it's illegal, and it's your responsibility to find out if it's legal or not.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a horrible story that happened to me with a can of pepper spray. You know, the kind that back in the 80s, when it first came out, they started issuing it to the police officers. And then pretty soon after that, they had them in these little keychain things that you could put on your keychain. And for some reason, you would never, if you were attacked, you would never be able to pop that little pouch open and pull out this little bottle of stuff and spray anything. Well, I had it on there because one of my family members go, oh, here you go. She was a realtor. So she gave everybody in the family one year for Christmas those little keychain pepper spray things.
Yeah, I know what you're on about.
Well, yeah. So I'm in my car one day and I had left my keys in the ignition and the windows rolled up. And my buddy, we were at his shop and I was working on one of my friend's cars. I get out there to get in the car and I stick the key in the ignition, or the key was in the ignition, but I grabbed it and I went to turn the ignition on and that little can exploded from the heat in the car. And when it did, geez. It was like a tear gas grenade went off inside my car. Okay. It was horrible. My whole face turned like lobster red. I started coughing and puking. I was like, what in the hell happened? And everybody's laughing at me once they found out what happened. But my car smelled like that stuff for a month.
And that's the inexpensive stuff. That ain't even the 18% OC.
Oh, no way. That was like 12% volume. Yeah, that was like the stuff when they first released it. The cop stuff was the hotter stuff, and they gave the like civilian populace like stuff that you could spray a dog with, type of stuff, But now you've got that really hot stuff. And I'll tell you another funny story about that too. My buddy's got a gun shop in Orlando, and back when the really hot stuff came out, and it wasn't mace anymore. They actually called it pepper spray. When that came out and hit the market, there was a big thing on it, and everybody was using it as like a defensive deterrent. And so Channel 9 News came into the shop and wanted to do a review. Basically, they wanted to film one of us getting sprayed with pepper spray. And and they said they wanted to film us and have us talk through what we were experiencing. Well, we all looked at each other and looked at them and like, are you mentally retarded? I'm like, this stuff is made to put a grown man on his ass. I'm not putting that shit in my eyes, and I'm not letting you do it in any of my employees' eyes either. So basically, they ended up talking one of their crew members that do their help with the recording and stuff and setting up their cameras. He's like, well, I'll do it. I'm not scared to do it. So basically, we went out behind the store, and it was all that white gravel rock all over the ground, and I sprayed him right in the face with it, and his eyes, he immediately hit the ground and started crying. And I was like, Jesus, man, how you feeling? And he was like, oh, all he could do was scream for like 20 minutes. And then I got the hose out and started spraying him in the face, and he's like almost drowned in, and he just keeps taking the water in the eyes. But his eyes looked like they were like bruised. It looked like somebody had punched him in the nose because he had like two black eyes. And I don't know if he did that to himself, trying to rub the actual irritant out. But I was like, dude, you're not going to stop rubbing your face. You're not going to rub that out. It's made to stick.
Oh, yeah.
And it was quite horrible, and they decided not to even show it on the news because of the horribleness of it. I guess the graphic nature of it.
Yeah, you have to let that stuff wear off.
Yeah. Now, do you carry pepper spray with you, wheelchair?
Yeah, I've always got one of the little containers of the 18%.
Okay, I mean, you carry as part of your like everyday carry type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've never thought about
I've got that and a stun gun.
Yeah.
So if I can reach into my jacket pocket here.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure if I would, I guess, I mean, won't that get you into trouble, though? I.e., say you actually pull the gun and shoot somebody, and they go, well, You could have stunned them or pepper sprayed them because you had it on you.
Well, it depends on what the threat is. But here's the stun gun.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be hit with that.
No, I wouldn't want to be either.
Yeah, but the whole thing about using lethal force is the threat has to be deserving of it. But that is also based on your ability to take damage as a person. Like Wheelchair and Rick, you might be able to say, hey, look, I'm an older person. I'm disabled because of this condition I have. You know, he came at me with bodily force with no weapon, and you could get away with saying, hey, look, I had to defend myself. What am I supposed to do? Run away? That's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, so it all depends on it. I mean, it all depends on the judge, the prosecuting attorney. I mean, all this kind of stuff plays in. Everything is dynamic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why I pay for that insurance, just in case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same
I
here.
never use it, but at least I'll have a lawyer there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I've got Texas Law Shield, the U.S. Law Shield that covers you in all the states.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got USCCA.
Hey, Black Hat.
And, you know, like the stun gun. If somebody's on top of me before I even know it, you know, I can pull that, zap them, and get them off of me. But the next thing I'm going to do is go for gun. I'm not, I don't know. If somebody just does not want to carry a gun, then pepper spray is a decent option. It's not the best option, but, you know.
Yeah, it's an alternative to carrying a gun.
It's an alternative.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. You know?
Now, I would never use pepper spray in a close-on situation because it's going to affect me as much as it is the other person.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been through the gas chamber numerous times. In fact, I used to volunteer to go in every time I had a head cold so I could clear out my head. But,
yeah, it will drain your sinuses.
Oh, yes. It does it better than any
like what?
But as far as
goes, the stun gun is the code for the pump action of a shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go on. You were saying?
But, you know, I still don't want to be hampered in any way if I'm in a possibly life or death situation. I want, and, you know, all it takes is, you know, the wind gust the wrong direction just as I squeeze the trigger on that pepper spray, and then I'm getting it in my face, and then I just became a completely, you know, total victim.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to change the topic just slightly. The other day, I mean, normally when I use my scooter lately because of the weather, I just, you know, ride it up onto the back of my ramp on the back of my truck. Then, like if I go down to Walmart or something like that, I'll use it. But the other day, I actually went down I went on a 3-mile ride on the thing, up and down up and down the streets and stuff. No problem. Carried my big heavy fat ass up hills, down hills, around corners. No problem. So I'm quite pleased, you know, with that.
Oh yeah.
I just need the ground down at the gun range to dry out, and I'm good to go. Because it will go. I mean, I drove it over the grass. I drove it through. Actually, I drove it through. There was still a little bit of snow on some of the sidewalks, and it went right through it, no problem. You know, it went up to about 3 inches of snow with no problem. So, you know, and I went over grass and a little bit of mud and stuff. So, but it can't be too deep, otherwise it sink. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it's good to know what your equipment can handle in case you ever have to push it to the max.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah, the kryptonite for my wheelchair is wet grass.
Yeah, that has trouble with that, huh?
Yep. Wet grass and deep mud.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, my four-wheel drive, it'll go over anything. That's a plus and a minus, because it'll flip you over in a heartbeat if you just run over something on one side or the other.
Oh, but yeah, because the wheels will just keep on turning, and it would. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thrown out of it a time or two.
Yeah. Well,
Don't you have a
as you get thrown out of it,
seatbelt?
you just look around. I'm just practicing. You know.
Yeah.
I got a seatbelt. They put a seatbelt on this scooter of mine, but I don't use it because I don't want to be trapped on it. Or is that the wrong way to look at it?
Well, if you're wheelchair, I would recommend using one if you're in an all-terrain one, because you never know what you may hit.
Yeah, on the scooter that you've got, how high is your backrest?
Oh, my backrest goes all the way. I mean, up to my shoulder, and I got a headrest on it too.
Okay, because, if it'll come up to where there's enough space between the top of your head and the top of the backrest to where you could literally hang upside down, great. Otherwise, I would say no. Because what'll happen is if you ever flip upside down, you'll be grinding on your head instead of on the equipment. And
I'm with you. Yes, I mean, as tall as I am and stuff, and yeah, you're right. If flipped over, my head would be touching the ground before the chair would. Anything on the chair would.
They're not light. I've had a couple of them land on top of me. I flipped one forward over onto me, and I got my foot caught in the wheel, and it flipped it forward and landed on top of me, and I've fallen off of a ramp, and the chair come down on top of me, and yeah, you really don't want those things landing on you. They're not fun.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like very much fun. That made me give me a jolt when you said you got your foot caught in the damn wheel. It's still making me my knees shaky. Imagining a foot just getting caught in there and causing that side of the wheelchair to flip right over on top of you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was rather uncomfortable for a while. Because, see, I'm not paralyzed. I've got a thing with my legs. My bones are dying. So.
Oh, okay. You have a very rare disease. I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
What's it called?
A vascular necrosis. It was of just the femoral head, but it's also in the femurs and the head of the tibias as well. But
so basically, the circulation, it's not getting positive blood flow through the the femur or the tibia.
Exactly.
And there's no kind of surgeries where they can go in and use cadaver arteries and bypass it so that it can get blood.
Nope. Well, if there is, none of the doctors I've talked to have mentioned it. I've seen, I don't know, about a dozen different ones, because I mean, I was there for a while. I was pretty much desperate to do anything to get my legs back, and Now I'm just at the point where I wish they'd just hurry up and chop them off and be done with it.
Really?
Yep. Yep. Because as long as the bones are dying, I'm going to continue feeling that pain. And
okay. Yeah.
bone death is a very painful process. And once the bones actually completely die, they'll be very brittle and they'll break extremely easy. And most likely, when they do break, they'll shatter, splinters and
Cause
stuff,
infection,
and cause infection. And then they'll have
septic
to
shock.
amputate anyway.
I mean, that sucks. It really does. I feel for you.
It's all right. I've come to terms with it. Like I said, at this point, I know the wheelchair is a permanent fixture, and the legs are really, they're more of a drag on my life than anything, because riding hand cycles and all the other things I like to do, they're an interference.
They just get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, I ride on the road, and every bump that I hit goes all the way down my legs. And, you take a finishing nail and stab it in your leg, and then stab it in the top of your leg, and then do it again once every inch all the way down to the bottom of your leg. And that's about what I feel every time I hit a bump.
Oh, man.
So, the pain makes me tired long before the riding makes me tired. So if I can do 30 miles on a hand cycle, I could do 60 or 70 miles on a hand cycle if I didn't have that added issue.
Right.
Look, real quick, looks like I screwed up here somehow on my gun channel's chat room. Somebody says you getting ready to start soon. I thought, well, no, we're almost over. Maybe I didn't start it up maybe I didn't start it up right, because I kept losing the chat room, and maybe I did something wrong. I do apologize. Everybody's over there waiting for me. Sorry. So, Anyway.
Well, they can watch the replay.
Yeah. And I'll make sure I get it right for next week. Or I'm on again on Saturday, so there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so, I think eventually, even though they're going to replace my hip, I think that might give me a couple of more years of being able to move around. But the way my back is, and it basically, part of what I got on my back too is, it's nothing major per se. I mean, a lot of people have it. It's spinal stenosis, but it seems to be getting, the doctor says it's getting smaller and smaller and tighter. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to where it's almost squeeze. I mean, it's touching the nerves inside my spine now. That's where the pain's coming from. And they want to operate on my spine and take two.
Don't let them do it.
They want to they want to take two.
I'd rather have what I have than have back issues.
They want to take out of your spine. They want to take two slithers out of each side of my spine to relieve the pressure.
Slithers of what?
Backbone.
Okay. Do you have bone spurs in your spine?
No, I have spinal stenosis.
Okay.
And it's getting tight. It's getting so tight now that there's no room in there for my nerves, and that's why I'm in so much pain all the time, and that's why I'm on so much medication to kill the nerve receptors in my brain, but they don't feel it.
I hate to say it, Rick, but you need to lose some weight, sir.
I'm on it. Believe it or not, I was at the doctor's last week, and he said you lost another 7 pounds. I asked him where, I want to know where it came from. I'm asking, where did I lose it? And he was honest with me. He said it's more likely water retention. You know what I'm saying? But I have. I mean,
Right.
in the since the beginning of the year, I've lost, what was it, 27 pounds, believe it or not. I might not look it on camera. Camera always makes you look fatter, you know? Isn't that what they say in the movies?
That's what Oprah says.
You know? But I have. I've lost 27 pounds since the beginning of the year. So,
Well, I've lost about 30 pounds, but for some reason I found 20 of it.
yeah, but I did. But the doctor said, well, you lost another 7. And I said, where? You know, because I said, I don't feel it. You know, I said, I don't feel it. I have. He goes, as you said, the scales are digital. He said, they're calibrated.
Yeah.
You know,
Whether you
okay. I said, makes my day.
whether you end up going for that procedure or not, it would behoove you to be in the best physical shape. By that, I mean muscle strength and being limber, as well as being able to lose whatever weight you're capable of. Because whether you have the procedure done or not, you will be in better shape and better able to do things.
Absolutely. I'm going to keep
and
on
if you
losing
have the
weight.
procedure, you will be able to recover from it in a
Yes.
shorter amount of time.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, also,
That'll-
the reason I'm losing it now also is the new hip. I want to keep losing it if it doesn't put too much strain on the new hip.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, when they replaced my right hip, man, you want to lose all the weight you can possibly lose before the surgery.
Yes.
Yep.
Because
Well, I'm
being
working on it.
overweight and having that surgery makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah.
And 10 times more painful.
Well, just think about it this way: you may have twice what it might for you be considered the normal amount of weight that you're bearing on that joint.
Oh, absolutely. The doctor said he said he would rather wait till I lost a hell of a lot more weight to do it, but it's in such bad shape. He's going to go ahead and do it anyway. You know.
Well, no,
How much do you weigh, Rick?
I don't like the way you word that. He's going to do it anyway. Fuck him.
Well, no, it's not so much. He said we'll go ahead and do it because the pain I'm in and the shape it's in, it's so bad. It will. He said it will be even worse if we leave it any longer. You know, the actual bone on bone crunching and stuff. How much do I weigh right now?
Yeah.
Well, you guys ready for a shock? I weigh
Yep.
I weigh around 350 right now. I was originally, middle of last year, I was a pound shy of 400. So
Well, you're on the right track.
So since last July, you know, I've lost 50 pounds since July.
But
I've lost 27 in the last 3 months.
because of where you're at, it's realistic to not know where it's going when you do lose weight. I mean, what you said about I don't know where it went is that's no joke, because when you are to a certain size, losing 10 pounds as a percentage is very little, and not really all that. Other than a scale, it's not noticeable.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I'm going to keep on doing. I said I'm on a diet, and I've got to, you know, I watch what I eat. And
How tall are you?
6'1".
Okay, so you should be around max weight 225 pounds for that height.
Yeah, but I ain't. I was never that. I was never ever. I was a fat baby.
weight.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, well, some people have struggled with weight all their lives. Some people only struggled the last 15 years or so.
Yeah. I mean, for years and years and years. I mean, when I fell and became disabled with my back and I hurt my arm and stuff, and I sat around the house for a year, and they had me on Protozone for a year. I mean, I must have put on about 100 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I always hovered around 280 most of my adult life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you were on prednisone. That is a steroid, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what caused your weight to get up there high.
Oh yeah, I'm off it now, but it don't want to come off as fast as it went on.
Yeah.
I have a quick question on steroids. I thought they, and this is just because I don't know, so I want to know. I thought that they only increase the muscle. Did you do also increase the fat cells as well?
Basically, they can cause your thyroid to change. It'll basically slow down your body's molecular kind of speed, your metabolism. It'll can retard your metabolism. It can also cause your immune system to be strongly affected, so that you catch sicknesses and colds, flus, and other diseases and infections easier in your body. Steroids are pretty bad for you in general. They basically give it to you to shut down your immune system, so that and down in your hips and your knees and stuff like that, they'll even inject directly into the hip or into the knee joint steroids. And basically what it does is it's like WD-40 for the knee joint or the hip joint, and it makes it work better. But the bad thing is it kind of kills the pain to that joint, and you end up long term because of it. Anybody that's played professional football that has knee injuries, like you remember the Miami Dolphins? He had multiple. Yeah. He had multiple surgeries on his knees. Did throughout the games in his knees with steroids, and now he can barely walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of compression fractures in my back, and the sac that surrounds the spinal cord was inflamed for a couple of years, and they kept me on steroids all that time. And I got up to, I was 369 pounds at my max.
Yeah.
And I lost 100 pounds off of it, and I've gained back about 40 of it. And I'm trying to get back down. I'm wanting to get down to 200. I used to be 6'1" before the compression fractures.
Yeah. Well,
Now
I
I'm
mean,
5'11".
if I can get back down to around 280 where I was, I know I need to lose a lot more, but if I can get around to 280, I'd be a happy camper. You know? So there we go. But anyway, is there any more questions? Because it's 8:10, and I believe isn't what you call it on Clover. So
Dano.
I don't want to keep anybody from him, but I just want to say thank you all for coming in, and sorry I didn't get to you earlier. Dano, I'll send you a link next week. So I got you on my list. I'll add you to it on the permanent mail list, whatever. You check your email?
Hey, Dano.
He must have just stepped away. I'll talk to him later. But anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to talk to him about doing the show. I was hearing that from Dead Horse. He looks like he just dropped out.
Okay.
Who's that?
Oh, maybe he didn't.
Oh, Dano.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I messed up on you, but I'll send you a link next week. No problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I misunderstood the time because when I saw 7 o'clock, I just assumed it was Central Time.
Okay. All right.
Oh no, the real time, Eastern.
Yeah. Oh, I just got notification. Clover show has just started.
Yep.
No, I think there's some technical issues, and he posted on chat. Tech issues, hang tight. So
Okay.
A little bit later.
So,
Hey, Dano.
yeah, I was just doing a not really a show, but just kind of a small group discussion. And it was really just to fill up time until your show started. And then I didn't realize I went an hour into your show.
That's not a problem. I mean, I made a fool of myself the other night. I was trying to fix something on using the OBS, and I went live, and people there are talking to me and watching me talk to myself.
I was one of them. I saw you messing with that lower third.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, why is it? And then I put a comment. It's like, just title it test, and then people will know.
I know. I didn't realize I was live, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that. I've gone live, but to try to figure out a microphone thing or a camera thing or whatever. And I just put, this is just a test or something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, it's all part of fun. Hopefully it got me a couple of more subscribers.
Well, it also shows you that if people see that, hey, you're out there and you're on, they'll come on and check it out.
Yeah, well, I did that this afternoon because, this morning Gun Channels was down for a while.
Right.
And I started a live chat to see if anybody was out there. And I lasted for about 45 minutes. So,
yeah, it's hard. And one of the things that Gun Channels did bring was just the announcement of, hey, I'm going live. If you want to watch, you can watch. If you want to join me, here's how to join. But without that, we're just individual YouTube channels again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we used to have to subscribe to each other religiously, so we would see, oh, Joe is suddenly threw up a chat or is having a discussion.
Yeah.
And so we also tended to be a little bit more regimented as far as times and who did what times, because that was the only coordination we could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like last night? I think there was 3 shows running at the same time, which to me is good. It gives people a choice.
Yeah. For some shows, they're not divisive is not the word. It just, it attracts a different type of person or viewer.
Yeah.
It kind of like the guns and geeks thing. Not everybody's into the geeks thing.
No.
So they can do something else while that's going on. And for the political chats, for people that want to take a break from the politics, they can go check something else out.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm going to let you go because my time's up here, and
I'm fired.
No.
I just
Dano, I need to talk to you.
Who was that? Who do you need to talk to?
Dano.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll stay online when he's done.
I'll be in touch with you later on, David, to remind you about next week and your and setting up your things, what you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, that works.
You have a good one, Rick, and thanks for the invite, sir.
No problem. I want to thank you, everybody who showed up. I appreciate it. I'll be here again next Wednesday. I'm also here this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So thanks a lot, guys.